Hello everyone, I am Shruti Vijayargi from BISP Solutions. So in this section, I am going to introduce you with vectors. So how to create vectors in R and how to work with vectors in R, we are going to discuss in this video. So first, what are vectors? Vectors are the simplest R objects, an ordered list of primitive R objects of a given time, such as real numbers, strings, logicals. So vectors are indexed by integers starting at 1. So vectors is the collection of elements. Member in a vector are officially called components. So let's go to the practical section and understand how to work with vectors in R. So we can create a vector in R using the C function, and C stands for the concatenation. So with the help of C function we can create vectors in R. Let's suppose I want to create a vector of name x1, and this is the vector of integer values. So this is the vector of integer. We can also create vector of characters by including quotation marks. So let's suppose I want to create a vector gender, and it includes elements male and female. So this will be the vector male and female. Okay, we can even create a vector which does include the elements numeric as well as characters. So if I type elements without quotation, then they are the numeric, and if I pass any element with quotation, even numbers, if I included as quotation marks, this will treated as string. So this is the vector which contains numeric as well as character data. Okay, now if you want to know the length of the vector, if we have stored so many elements in a vector and want to know the length of that vector, so the most often used function of vector is length. So length of A will be 7. Now if you want to access any element of vector, so to extract any element we can use a square bracket, and if you want to know the element at the third place, so in the square bracket write 3. So the third element of vector A is 4. If you want to extract any element except the fourth except the third element, so you type minus 3 within the square bracket. So this shows the output except the third element, which is the fourth. Now if we wish that all elements except first and fifth, we want all elements except first and fifth, so we write minus C and 1 comma 5 and then enter. So the first and the fifth element is not come in this output. We may wish to extract only the elements where A is less than 6, or the element here x1 which is less than 6. So the vector x1 extract the elements that are less than 6 will be x1 square bracket x1 less than 6, and the square bracket is closed, and so less than 6 elements in the vector 1, 2, 3, 5 in the vector x1. Okay. Now, if you want to get element from 5 to 7 in the vector A, the vector A has elements and I want the elements between 5 to 7, so I have to use column to extract the elements. So 5, 6 and 7 element will become. Now if you want if your vector is so large and I want to know the exact length of vector, then write A from fifth element n until the length of A, until the length of A. So we may write this like this. So it will give the output from 5th to 7th. 7th is the last element of this vector. Now if you want to access the first, third and the last element, so how to access it? Square bracket, first, third and the last element would be length of A. Sorry, I just forget to include the C here. So the first, third element and the last element of the vector 1, 4 and 10. Now we can even store these elements in another vector like this. Vector 1 C1, 3, length of A. Let's close the bracket to that. So the vector 1 has elements 1, 3, 7. And also we can access A of vector 1. This will give the same output of the storage of the elements. Now we can create a sequence of integer values using colon and R. So if I want elements from 2 to 7, then we may write 2 colon 7 and enter. So it will create a sequence 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. For more general sequence, we can use the seq command of Excel for creating sequence, and this will take 3 arguments. The first one is the from. So I want from 1 to how many elements? So from till 7, and I want that the number is incremented by 1 or increased by 1. So the third argument is by and equals to the value and then enter. So it will create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you want a sequence of non-integer values, like if you want the sequence of decimal values running from 1 to 7, so write seq from 1 to 7, and I want that it is divided by 1 by 3. So this is the non-integer value, it is the decimal output. And we can use rep command to create a vector of repeated numbers or characters. So let's create a vector repeating number 1 and let's repeat it 10 times. So rep is used to create the repeated vectors. So rep, I want 1 and how many times? I want 10 times. Okay, then enter. So it will give the result. We may also create a vector of repeated characters using the rep command. I want a string, suppose India, and how many times? I want 5 times. Then enter. So this will create a vector of repeated characters. We can also repeat a sequence for like rep 1 colon 3 and times 5. So it repeat the sequence 1 colon 3, that means 1 2 3 5 times. We can also repeat a sequence of number for which non-integer values are used. For that you have to write rep and then use seq command from where you want 2 to 5, and by if you want to divide 0.25, okay, and you want this sequence 5 times, okay. Okay, sorry, I write O in place of 0. So this will create sequence 5 times. We may also want to have a sequence of characters repeated multiple times. So for that you have to write like I want M and R, and I want these characters 5 times. Okay, so it will write it. And let's go ahead and create vector called X with sequence of numbers running from 1 to 5. So create 1 column 5, and also let's create a vector called Y using C, and I want 1 3 5 7 9. Okay. And now we can do something extra with X and Y vectors. First, we can add a vector to each element over the vector using the plus command. For example, we may want to take the vector x and the elements of x are increased by 10. So I write x plus 10. So this will increase every element of x with 10. We can even subtract from every element in this vector. For that, x minus 10. So this will subtract the elements of vector. We can also multiply. We can also even calculate the multiplication of every elements, and we can even divide them with any numbers you want. Okay. So if two vectors are of same length, we can add, subtract, multiply or divide corresponding elements. Suppose we have x and vector which has 5 elements, and we have y and vector which has 5 elements, so we can add them. Okay, we can, since two vectors are of the same length, so we can add element wise fashion. We can subtract the two again in an element wise fashion. We can even multiply them again in the element wise fashion, and we can even divide them. Okay, so these are the calculations performed on the vector in R. So if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Thanks for watching.